Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Gadigal people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Joni Jones, it's Tuesday, June 20. In Squiz Kids Today, Parliament passes the Voice Bill, a Rubik's Cube record, kids learning life lessons, and the plague of stinky gooey bugs. That's what's making news kids style.
The lowdown.
It's official, Australians will have the opportunity to vote and have their say in having an Indigenous voice to Parliament. There was a huge applause in Canberra yesterday when the Senate passed the Voice Bill, 52 votes to 19, paving the way for an upcoming referendum. What does that mean? A referendum is when people can vote on a political matter, where the outcome of that vote can change a policy or law. And that referendum will now be held within 2 and 6 months' time, with the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, expected to announce the exact date shortly. So this means all Australian citizens over the age of 18 will have the opportunity to change the Constitution. What is the Constitution? The Constitution is the set of rules and laws by which a country is run. And the only way to amend the Constitution is by holding a referendum. If the vote is in favour of the voice, it would mean a group called the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice will be able to make representations to Parliament on all matters relating to Indigenous people.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in California in America, where the Guinness World Records hosted a speed cubing competition. Hands up if you've ever solved a Rubik's Cube. You know, the cube that has 6 sides and each side has 3 squares across and 3 squares down. The aim is to get all the same colour squares on the same face. I mean, we have a Rubik's Cube at home and it took months to solve. So I can't even believe that a speed cuber, that's the professional term for a Rubik's Cube player, managed to solve a Rubik's Cube in an astonishing 3.13 seconds. 3 seconds and done, finished, solved. It's so crazy. Guinness World Records filmed this amazing effort, so I'll post a link of the video in your episode notes. Basically, the Rubik's Cube was hidden from 21-year-old Max Park under a cup. Once the cup was removed, the clock started ticking. Max is seen carefully looking at the 6 different faces of the cube. Then in a flash, his hands move so fast, he moves the cube into the correct pattern, completing the puzzle. Max is a well-known speed cuber. He holds the record for the 4x4x4 cube, the 5x5x5 cube, among others. There's also a Netflix documentary about his achievements. Max has autism, and his parents wanted to find a way to help him develop his fine motor skills. And once he picked up a Rubik's Cube, they realised how much the puzzles helped. Max's motto is don't think, just solve.
Squiz Kids salutes.
How good is this? A farmer who grows excess vegetables to help people in need has joined up with local schools teaching children how to harvest. These kids are learning invaluable life skills. They get to go outside and enjoy being on school excursions. Because let's be honest, how fun are school excursions? But they also get to see how their hard work can go a long way to helping people in need. It's a win-win, win-win. Farmer Ben Polar grows vegetables at his property in Tower Hill in southwest Victoria. He grows more vegetables than he needs, on purpose, so he can have leftovers to give for free to those in his local community who can't afford fresh produce. Farmer Ben says if you see a problem and you know you've got an answer, of course you're going to have a go at resolving whatever it is. So this is where the local primary school has come to help. While Ben can grow the vegetables, he needs help getting them from the fields and distributed to the local community. The school kids, dressed in their high-vis vests and gumboots, come to learn from Ben how to harvest. Walking in 2 lines through the farm, the kids pick the produce. They work together and fill boxes full of vegetables. Then these veggies are donated to people in need. It's a life cycle of doing good. The kids are learning practical skills and the invaluable lesson of doing something good for someone who needs.
Animal Kingdom.
This is an odd one to wrap your head around, but the US state of Nevada is facing an invasion of insects who are not only making the roads dangerous and slippery, they are also creating quite the pong in the air. Millions of flightless insects, known as Mormon crickets, are swarming the western United States as they migrate. I'll post a link in your episode notes so you can see pictures of them, literally just blanketing the streets. I mean, there are so many of them on the roads, if you're driving down the street, there is just no way of missing them. As these insects get squashed under tyres, an unusual thing happens. I mean, yes, they get squashed, so that's not so unusual, but as so many are being run over, their dead little exoskeletons leave a slimy goo on the ground. This makes the roads slippery, but not only that, when the insect is crushed, they start to stink. Ploughs are being used to scrape the remains up from the streets, and under siege locals have tried many unusual ways to try and get rid of them, like using vinegar, soap, and leaf blowers. And if you really wanted to know, apparently they smell as bad as dog poop or rotting fish. Ew. Hey teachers, Squiz Kids needs your help. We're trying to find out how useful you find our classroom companion resource, so we can make plans for the future. There's a link in today's episode notes to a quick 5-minute survey which we'd really appreciate if you could take. One lucky survey respondent will win a $150 Officeworks voucher. Because let's face it, you can never have enough stationery. And a big Squiz Kids thank you in advance.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question 1. Australians will vote on a voice to Parliament later this year. True or false? Of course it's true. Question 2. Insects are swarming parts of Nevada. When they get squashed by cars, 2 unusual things happen. 1, they release a brown goo. And what is the second thing? They stink. Question 3. A traditional Rubik's Cube has 6 different faces. On each face, there are 3 cubes across and 3 cubes down. So here's a maths question for you. How many cubes are there on each face? There are 9 cubes on each face.
Shout outs.
It's June 20. It's World Refugee Day. And if you want to learn more about refugees, we've got a great podcast. It's called Squiz Kids, Your Shortcut to Refugees, where you can find all about people who have had to leave their home countries for a safer life. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Charlie and Kale from Cronulla, Michaela from Flagstaff Hill, Ryder from Cannon Hill, Tilly from Helensvale, CJ from Brisbane, Aslan from Oran Park, Tahawia from Lake Bolac, Spencer from Morika, Boyd from Mount Barker, Leon from Ryde, Taz from Rosanna, Maddie from Orange, Sky from North Manly, Miller from Millfield, Patricia from Yeppoon, Taj from Narrowena, Gabe from Coleroy, and Sophie listening all the way over in Manchester in England, and Scott also listening all the way over in Ireland. And belated shout-outs go to Claire from Sydney, Leonardo from Mountain Creek, and Tintu from Orange. Classroom shout-outs go to classes 6A and 6B with Miss Pearson and Mrs. Truella at Echuca Primary School. Class 5R with Mr. McCann at St. Paul's Catholic Primary School in Albion Park. Class 3-4V and Mrs. Vale at New Lambton Public School. Miss Kingdom's class at St. Dominic's Centre in Mayfield. And lastly, to the students at the Snowy Mountain School in Jindabyne. And happy birthday to their teacher, Mrs. Butler. And don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up, and if you want a shout out, or if you want a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. That's all we've got time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have the most excellent day. Over and out.